Let me tell you a story. So I used to be the kind of person who would just listen to whatever his brain said, and I didn't realize that my brain was kind of against myself. So anytime I craved sugar, I would go eat the junk food, right? And at the time, I was starting to work out, and the thing was, my mom would drive me to the gym. Like I didn't have a car, I was like 15 years old, so I didn't even have a license. And so she was the person who would drive me to the gym, right? So it would be so awkward having to like try and think of some excuse like, oh mom, my stomach hurts. Oh, I'm just tired today. I don't feel like going to the gym. It would feel so awkward listening to my brain and like, okay, I don't want to go to the gym today, but now I have to think of some excuse to tell my mom. It was so annoying. Little did I know, there's this part of your brain called your amygdala, and this is basically what is responsible for listening to your emotions. So, this is what has convinced you, like, okay, I want to eat junk food, so I'm going to eat junk food. I want to watch bad videos, so I'm going to go watch those bad videos and, like, stay addicted to it. Even for, like, fathers, like, if your father was abusive, he feels angry, so he's going to take it out on his kids. It's this part of your brain that is literally, like, keeping you addicted to these vices and listening to your emotions, and it's never a good thing. I don't think you understand, this part of your brain has convinced you to waste thousands of hours on like scrolling and video games and just random bullshit like laziness. It has convinced you to watch, bad videos thousands of times. It has convinced you to watch that kind of adult, like disgusting, sinful content thousands of times. And yet there is something you can do against this part of your brain. It is meditation. What meditation basically does, if you start this habit, is it will literally shrink this part of your brain. Like if you do it long enough, you will literally shrink this part of your brain. And it makes it to where you use that less and you use your prefrontal cortex more. So what that means is you start to listen to logic instead of emotion. So what would this look like? If you've been meditating for a while, basically let's say you feel lustful, right? Back then you would have been like, oh, I feel lustful, so I'm just gonna go watch the bad videos. I'm just gonna go fab. But if you start meditating and you actually gain a lot of like XP in it, you will have this little disconnect, right? You're like, okay, I feel lustful and I want to go watch the bad videos, right? But I'm not going to because I know it's bad for me. And it's just like this disconnect. It will make you improve so much in life. By the way, man, if you want to learn more about this, go check out link in the description for my new community I recently launched. And by the way, the scary thing is, most people will go throughout their life living like this, where they live where their brain is against them and they just let it just dictate whatever the hell they do. And they never realize that it is working against them, right? So they're doing all these bad habits. A lot of people that are watching this, I'm not gonna lie, they probably clicked off. They probably heard the word meditation, or they didn't even click because the title says something about meditation. They're probably like, oh, that's gay, I'm not gonna do that. And it's that part of their brain, it's convincing them like, oh bro, no, that shit's gay, I'm not gonna do that, it's stupid. There's a lot of people that are watching this right now that feel that way. That is literally this part of your brain that is working against you. It is emotion instead of logic. Like logically, it is a fact that this will help you. But the thing is, your emotions, the laziness, you're like, oh man, I would rather scroll, I would rather do this, like, oh, that's boring, that's gay, whatever. So if you're watching this deep and you actually want to take action, you want to learn how to meditate, you have my respect, because a lot of people just aren't even going to take action on this and they're never going to reap the benefit of what we have. It's a lot like dieting. When you start a diet, you realize you're like, oh my God, this feels amazing. And when you actually get a little bit off the diet, it's like, oh my God, this is what the average person feels like. You get what I mean? That's a lot of like meditation. So basically what it is, you may think it's like some wishy-washy bullshit where it's like you sit crisscross applesauce and you do your hands like this. It's nothing like that, okay? What you do is basically focus on your breath. So you close your eyes and you just focus on your breathing and you breathe deep like this. And you can imagine every time you breathe like that, you're gonna have some random thought come into your brain. But when you're like, okay, no, I'm not gonna think about that. I'm gonna think about my breath. That is basically one rep. That is one like experience point gained, okay? And so every time you do that, you are taking action against this part of your brain that has convinced you to waste thousands of hours on like scrolling and pornography and all these weird vices that people are addicted to, laziness. Every time you feel like skipping the workout, you don't feel like working on your business or studying for your career, whatever it is you're doing, you feel like skipping practice, all these things, you can literally just meditating, you can take an action against it all just by meditating. It is awesome. There's so many other benefits of meditating too. Like most people will have these insecure thoughts. Like when I was younger, I always had these insecure thoughts. So I was like in junior high, I was way shorter than most people, and now I'm like, I finally grew to average height, but I was so insecure. All my thoughts were insecure. Now when I've meditated a lot, it's like I get some sort of bad thought and I can see it. I'm like, okay, why am I thinking negative when I can just think positive? And I can literally turn that part of my brain off and just think positive, and I'll become happier. And that is all because I'm more experienced in meditation. If you want my advice for like, an app to start it on or whatever, here's what I would do. First off, try and find like a specific time in your day where you're gonna do this habit. So for me, it is always right after my morning shower. I dry off, I go sit in my bed and I meditate, and then I read my Bible, right? And so what you basically do is you do that, you set the habit, but you also download this app. It is called Medito, Medito. That is what I use. It's like this little timer, and you click timer, click 1 minute. When you do 1 minute, just stay consistent in that. Try and do 1 week of that, right? And so when you finally get consistent with 1 week, I'll be honest, you probably are going to skip this a lot. You're going to skip this habit a lot. So when you start with 1 minute, don't have a big ass ego and be like, oh, nah, man, 1 minute isn't going to do anything. I'll be honest, it really doesn't. But we need to get you consistent in the habit, right? It's a lot like the gym. You can't just go in there, bench 225 right off the rip. You have to start with like the little boy weights and then you have to like progress, and a couple years later, maybe like a year, 2-3 years later, you're going to be able to do heavier weight, right? That is a lot like meditation. You have to basically progressively overload it. You're only able to do 1 minute, and then you skip 2 days, and eventually you'll get 1 week consistent. That's when you add time. That's when you're doing 2 minutes. It took me so long to go from 1 minute to 2 minutes on consistency, but yeah, man, this has really helped me. Like, I hope you're as hype as me with this habit, because it has so many benefits. You're more present in the moment. You're able to have that disconnect from emotion to action, right? When you have the emotion, you would automatically do the action, but now you don't, because you can just see it for what it is. You're like, I feel lustful, but I'm not gonna do the action because I know it's bad for me. But yeah, man, if my free content has really helped you, by the way, you should probably go check out, link in the description, for my paid community. It is half off right now because I'm still building it, but if you really like my free content, I think you would like what I'm building. Link in the description. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.